Welcome back to Doc's Hot Shop and Forge. So today we're going to actually dress and use this drift. So I've been in discussions with Blair and he'd like me to review it anyway. So what I'm going to do is run it on the sander just to take the forge surface off, get rid of the flash from the drop forging, and then we will make up a little wrap die axe, I think, and use this drift to do the eye. Now, I don't know if you can see that terribly well, but that squared off profile is a Danish eye profile for a Danish style hewing axe. This is a bit of a medium size drift for that style. It's a style I don't generally make, but in this case we're going to do that and let's see how we go. So let's get to the grinder, and then after that let's cut up some stock and get some steel hot, eh? Let's have some fun. So for the sides, we're going to use a flap disc just to take those off. We've got the front and the back pretty close to where we need it. Still a little bit up here, but it's not too bad. So we'll keep going with that just to get those little bits out. The narrow side is pretty much done. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, time to work through the grits to get us down a little bit further, just so that we don't have as heavy scratches, so it works a bit smoother. Okay, let's lay out this is the pole of the axe. Time to start finding the eye and straightening it out, because it is a little bit twisty. We'll do that. Drifting. The bit itself is a nice solid chunk as far as I can tell. So let's get this area hot and get the drift like the BSL Anvils drift. Got it ground, then do just up here because I don't expect to try to get quite that far in. Probably get to about here, I reckon. The eye weld is a little bit on the tender side. Doesn't matter if it comes apart just a little bit. That shoulder down. To straighten things out. Squish this little bit back in. eyes in here. This thing is pretty straight. Yeah, I think I'll leave it the way it is. A little bit of judicious grinding won't eliminate. Alright, time to anneal this one so we can grind it. That's fun. Now I've only heated up the edge because that's where the steel of consequence is. So that's the axe out of the annealing bucket. As I expected, we did get a little bit of splitting just near the eye. It's not of great consequence. The rest of the blade is quite sound. The axe eye drift works quite well. I have had to do a little bit of tinkering with the width down here because I was getting a bit of a shoulder here. Now this thing's still a little bit warm. How much edge do we have? So we'll end up with about 8.5 centimeters worth of cutting edge. I don't know how much the axe head weighs. It's probably around that 1 pound mark, maybe a bit more. It's quite straight, quite square. So it just needs to be ground, touch marked, and heat treated. So my thoughts on the drift. For its profile, it works well. That said, I still think this taper is too great. It should be a little bit less. This end can be a little bit broader, or it can have a bit of a sail taper to it. So a double transition, so you'd have a little bit more parallelism up here near where we work, because I was going to about here. I was thinking the cheeks were getting a bit thin, so I didn't go much further, but up here a little more parallel, and then down here it could taper a bit more. That would make it a little more useful, a little more able to work with almost any axe. This taper is quite good. My swage block isn't quite sized well enough for this, so I've gone and damaged it. I'll have to regrind that. And yeah, I've scored at a couple of spots. So overall, for its profile, it works well. Is it to my taste, the profile? Not really. Should be a little bit of an oddity because this is a Danish cross-section. Traditional Danish hewing axes have this cross-section, and my ancestry is Danish. So realistically I should for some reason like this, but I'm not a huge fan. I much prefer the smoother Appleseed style axe eyes of the modern axe. But that said, given all of those things that are personal preference, I'd say this is actually quite a good axe eye drift. The one thing I would change is the taper in this plane. But otherwise, yeah, it's a good axe eye blank. You could If you felt like doing a lot of grinding, grind it to a more traditional modern axe profile. I'm not going to do that. This will end up in my drift collection, I guess, and I'll let Blair decide what he wants to do. And he is free to use this video for his advertising material. So, that's what I'm going to leave off. If you've enjoyed the video, found it useful, hit the thumbs up. Feel free to share on social media, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. When you do, don't forget, ring the notification bell. So get out to your shop, have some fun, but do stay safe, and I'll catch you for the next one.